Good morning, everyone. How are we doing today? It is Monday, September 28th. Man, 2020's been fun, huh? No, not really. But this is your daily financial news. Again, what I do for you every day is read what's going on in the markets and share my thoughts with you. Again, this is a real estate channel, investing channel, cost of capital, really following the consumer. And if you like that kind of information, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. I try to do these live around 7:30 every day. Usually on Thursdays, I have to do them a little earlier because I have an expert interview that kicks off at 7:30. So, got to do that one around 7 if I can. And from there, hit the thumbs up button. Let's be Graham Stephan and go ahead and hit the thumbs up button. So, a couple of things. First and foremost, one of the biggest things in my feed today was Trump's taxes. The fact that he didn't pay any taxes, I think it was 10 out of the last 15 years. I guess I have a couple of thoughts here. First and foremost, is anybody surprised? Under the current rules of the tax code, again, which he didn't write, real estate developers, real estate owners have a lot of flexibility on how they claim depreciation, cost segregation, all of these other phantom losses that really would help you show very little federal taxes. I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked at all. In fact, I would have been shocked if he paid significant taxes. Again, this is not about whether that's right or wrong. This is under the current rules of the game. The game says, you have he has the legal rights to make those claims. And let's be clear, this is not about him. This is about real estate developers, people creating real estate properties, apartments, malls, office, and for him, golf courses, right? He seems to have bought a lot of golf courses the last decade or so. All of it real estate, all of it legal, near as I can tell. And I don't think you should be surprised on it. And yes, he does pay lots of taxes. I can't imagine, for example, what his property tax bill is. I mean, that's got to be hundreds of millions of dollars, I would think. He's probably paid a lot in state taxes as well. So again, I see a lot of the headlines out there kind of trying to make a fuss about this. I think there's a couple of things. One, I don't think anybody should be surprised, at least if you're following a real estate channel. The second thing that I now feel, again, after watching just the ruckus at the headlines, is if there is a change at the top, right? If the executive branch changes, you can expect real estate not to be treated very well by the next administration. They will probably name the tax changes the Trump, whatever they'll call it, the Trump tax or whatever. But again, realize it's not about him, it's about the profession. And there could be a lot of real estate developers, I don't know, indirectly targeted by tax changes. So I think just in the 24-hour news cycle that I've seen since this came out yesterday, that I expect it to be a big topic of debate. I think real estate developers in general employ a lot of jobs. There's a lot of supplies and infrastructure and supply chain around it. And we need real estate developers, right? Who makes the affordable housing? Who makes the retail centers? Who makes the office? So we'll see. It's pretty interesting. The one thing that I did see reported that would have me concerned is a borrower. It seems like there's 300 million bucks in personal guarantees. I don't care who you are, but $300 million in personal guarantees, that can't feel good. That would stress me out a little bit. But that was the only thing that I saw that was like, ooh, wow, that could hurt you, right? Personal guarantees. They're coming due in the next 4 years. The lending rate's going to be pretty low, I would think. So probably could refinance, I would guess. But still, that's enough to make me nervous as a conservative investor. But let's move off of that. We'll see what comes out of it. But yeah, real estate developers under the current taxes, I would be shocked if he paid a bunch of federal taxes. I'm curious about the debate on Tuesday. Honestly, I'm not going to watch it. I can't watch stuff like that. But I am going to. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see if Tuesday's debate is about what each of them say, right? What is their message? Or do people ignore what is said? And this is for both gentlemen. Do they look how they perform, right? Does Biden look weak and distracted, right? Because there's all this calls about Sleepy Joe, and or does he perform great? And he kind of brushes that moniker aside. Does Trump stay on message and on task, or does he get flustered with personal attacks? It's. I think Tuesday is about how they perform, not what they say. But you never know. The economy is a topic, as I've learned, for Tuesday, so it'll be interesting to see. I think the economy has something for both. I think the economy is roaring back in many ways, but there's also pain, i.e., the K-shaped recovery is real. So it'll be interesting to see if the gentlemen recognize both sides, like more work to be done, or do they just focus on the part of the K that makes them look good? One thing about politics that always irritates me is people seem to only focus on their little tribe, not realizing that they're supposed to be Americans first and red or blue second, or whatever you want to call them, but we shall see. I think it's pretty clear that there's a fair amount of at least stock market risk between now and the election. It's around the corner, so it is going to be interesting. So much so that Wells Fargo strategist, the chief strategist, Chris Harvey, came out and said the market is, he sees no reason to put new money to work in the stock market. I found that interesting. You don't normally see a strategist make that kind of black and white call. They're usually more gray. Oh, well, you've got to look for value and don't look for growth. And, oh, you look for growth, not value. Or look for dividends. And he's like, no. No reason to put money to work. No reason to put new money to work today. I respect that call. I agree with that call. I think it is fantastic that a stock market strategist came out and said that. I'm gonna see what else Chris Harvey has to say, because that's not normal. Things he said in his call: market is too vulnerable to another correction. Right? We saw a 10% drop and more in the big tech stocks here recently. He thinks there's going to be a 50% surge in volatility, meaning these intraday ups and downs. I think he's absolutely right. Election risk, yes, we already talked about that. And then most importantly to him is we just don't know what's going to go in the health crisis the next 6 weeks, right? We're out of summer, we're into fall, and yeah, he's concerned where it's going, pointing at numbers at various states who haven't had issues. So it is real. The other thing that I want to start talking about and thinking about is a double dip recession. I want, just like the K-shaped recovery, which we started talking about very early, thanks to Jeffrey for bringing it to us. But I think we want to start talking about a double dip recession next year, right? The second dip next year. A lot of that is going to depend on the stimulus. Nancy Pelosi is out talking about over the weekend about feeling good about having a $2.4 trillion stimulus plan that covers all the right things. I'm curious if that's a political maneuver, just to show that they're trying to do something, because I think they've been cornered by clearly showing them not willing to negotiate where most help is needed. But I haven't seen anything. We've talked about this proposal coming now for at least 5 days. I'm at the point where you got to show me, right? The politicians have earned no right for us to believe them. So hey, where is it? Let's see it. Let's see this 2.4 trillion, and we will see. What else do I got for you? Oh, have you been looking for Amazon Prime Day? As we know, one of the things we lost in 2020 is Amazon's Prime Day. Well, congratulations. They just selected 2 dates in October. It is October 13th and 14th, Amazon Prime Day. So good for that. I do have a couple of questions. One is about the cruise lines. I don't know if I've shared this before, but Olivia and I have enjoyed probably nearly 20 cruises. It was kind of how I relaxed when I was working full time in crazy hours. I'd jump on a ship and my phone wouldn't work. But I'm just wondering, when do you bet on the cruise lines? They're all down 50%. At least a couple of them will survive this crisis. It wouldn't surprise me if a couple folded. But when do you bet on them, right? Because they're gonna run once they go, once the virus and all of that is there. But they're not going to go until there's another side of this crisis, because we all know about that one cruise line that was docked in Japan. I think it was just not a good place, easily transferable inside that cruise ship. So just curious, when do you bet on cruise lines? Do you bet on them now? Do you bet on them in January? Do you bet them on June? I don't know. Again, I'm not buying, but I was just curious. I saw cruise lines come across my feed with all these special prices. I'm like, nope, not going. And then the final thing I read today was about office real estate. And it looks like office real estate, looks like they're forecasting, this is Cushman and Wilkes, I think it is, Cushman for sure. They're saying that this crisis has already lost 95 million square feet of office space. What I really took from the article is they are not forecasting office leased space to come back to January 2020's high until 2025. That's interesting. And again, this goes back to a video I did the other day, because all these people are talking about a crash in single family homes next year, which again, I'm on record multiple times saying not possible. But let's talk about 2025, because a lot can happen between now and then. So that was a video I was proud to create and see that they agree with that. And then second, a lot of people have been watching me live in the Bay Area or have interest in the Silicon Valley. I interviewed somebody yesterday, Sunday, to talk about the Silicon Valley impact of work from home, ADUs, things of that nature. Go ahead and check that video out. We talked about my thoughts on where Bay Area pricing will go. We talked about San Francisco. Keep in mind this was very single family oriented, but because that's where her questions were, but that was there. So at the end, have a wonderful day. I'm going to shut down now and get ready to interview Greg Dickerson here in about 10 minutes or so. Take care. Bye.